In the quiet northern fringes of Moscow once stood a skeleton of concrete, vast, incomplete, and feared. Its name was Havrinskaya Hospital, but locals whispered a different name, the Hospital of the Damned. Tonight, we uncover its chilling truth.
Construction began in 1980, a colossal hospital with the promise of healing. But 5 years later, it stopped. Funds vanished, plans failed. A ghostly shell was left behind.
Built in a seven-legged star-like shape, with wings branching into empty corridors, it was designed to hold over 1,000 beds. Yet it held nothing but silence. In time, rumors spread. Strange figures, unexplained noises, ghostly apparitions. Some said the land beneath it once held an old cemetery, undisturbed as the hospital rose. Inside, floors were fragmented, walls half-built. The basement, a cavernous maze of flooded halls where echoes never stopped. Whispers spoke of cults. Some claimed a satanic sect made this unfinished hospital their sanctuary, sacrificing the innocent, painting demonic symbols across walls. One night, police raided, or so the story goes, driving worshippers deep into the basement. What happened there is still debated. Some say the blast was deafening.
Urban adventurers spoke of apparitions, silhouettes gliding in hallways, figures disappearing into walls. Others claimed to hear children screaming in emptier rooms. Though untouched by the law for years, the silent hallways were claimed by the unseen and the unwanted. The lonely souls of the homeless made this their refuge. Thrill seekers, oblivious to danger, fell victim to the building's treachery, collapsing floors, loose rebar, hidden pits waiting like silent traps.
In 2005, a young soul named Alexei tumbled down an elevator shaft, not by ghost, but by heartbreak. Locals lit candles at the spot for years.
More bodies were found, dumped where no one would notice. Opportunistic killers saw chaos as cover. The legends grew thicker.
A movie was even shot here, a mockumentary claiming ancient sorcery in the surrounding woods. Whether truth or fiction, it blurred reality even further. Absent any revival, the hospital sat abandoned for decades, a rotting landmark of fear and fascination. At last, in 2018, the structure was brought down, piece by piece. Yet some say the ground still whispers. What makes a place haunted? The ghosts within, or the darkness we imagine? Havrinskaya Hospital may be gone, but its shadows live on. Tell us what you think, and beware what you seek in silence.
In the quiet suburbs of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, stands a grand old home, 3406 Brownsville Road. To most, it looks like an enchanting relic from the past, but to the family that lived here, it would become a battlefield between light and darkness. This is not a ghost story. This is what one family claimed was a true encounter with a demon.
Robert Bob Cramner grew up nearby. As a boy, he would gaze at the house with fascination, a dream waiting in silence. Years later, married with 4 children, fate brought him back. In the fall of 1988, the house unexpectedly went up for sale, the very week they began searching for a family home. At first, the oddities were subtle. Lights flickered and turned off on their own. Footsteps echoed through silent hallways. But one moment changed everything. The moment young Bobby Jr. disappeared during the house tour, only to be found crying on the staircase, shouting about seeing something he couldn't explain. With every passing day, the strange occurrences escalated. Doors slammed without wind. Lights pulsed in sudden darkness. The air carried something foul,
a smell like burning sulfur that tightened the chest. The family found bent crucifixes and destroyed rosaries strewn about without explanation.
A priest was invited to bless the house, but Bobby Jr. refused to allow him into his room, saying only, "It's scary in there." The adults brushed it off until for months the boy insisted he could feel something watching him. He no longer slept in his bed, instead curling up in his closet, light blazing, trying to feel safe. Digging in the yard, Bob unearthed a buried metal box filled with rosary beads and old medals. He called the previous owners, but they insisted he put it back where he found it and said no more. Research revealed a dark history. In the late 1700s, a mother and her 3 children had been killed nearby, their bodies buried close to this land. Bob believed the violent souls of the past may have come home with them, and something even worse.
What started as subtle knocks turned vile. Family members reported foul odors, unseen forces tearing at them in their sleep, and unexplained marks appearing on their bodies. Objects weren't just moving, they were being thrown. Years passed, and the hauntings didn't wane, they intensified. Bob claimed his wife and several children began suffering mental breakdowns, hospitalizations, and violent episodes, as if the house itself was ripping away at their sanity. In 2003, a violent confrontation between Bobby and his father led to an arrest. The next day, an elderly relative living in the home was found dead peacefully in her bed. Bob knew then they had to do something, or lose everything. Thanks to Bob's connections, the local diocese sent a priest, but this was no ordinary blessing. For 2 years, the house became a battleground of spiritual warfare. The demon fought back with screams, tempests, and violent upheaval. Finally, in 2006, the torment stopped. The overwhelming darkness withdrew. The family, changed forever, embraced faith and declared the house cleansed. Today, that very house stands transformed, no longer a den of terror, but a historic bed and breakfast. Whether you believe in demons or dismiss this as imagination, the story of Brownsville Road leaves one question lingering. What truly dwells in the places we call home? And what happens when the shadows start to watch back?
In the heart of medieval England, long before science had answers for the unknown, a quiet village became the center of a mystery that still refuses to die. This is not a fairy tale. This is not folklore born from imagination. It is a documented historical anomaly, recorded by chroniclers who swore they were telling the truth. This is the chilling story of the Green Children of Woolpit. In the 12th century, Woolpit was a small farming village in Suffolk, England. Life here was predictable: sunrise, harvest, prayer, sleep. The villagers believed they knew every face, every sound, every path through the fields. But one afternoon, something appeared that did not belong. While harvesting crops near a series of deep pits used to trap wolves, called wolf pits, the villagers heard crying. Not the cry of an animal, not the cry of a local child. When they looked closer, they froze. Standing at the edge of the pit were 2 children, a boy and a girl. Their clothes were unfamiliar, their language was unrecognizable, and their skin was green. The villagers surrounded the children cautiously. They spoke to them. The children answered, but no one understood a single word. The green color of their skin was not paint, not sickness. It was natural. The villagers feared witchcraft or something far worse. Still, curiosity outweighed fear. The children were taken into the village. The children refused bread.
They rejected meat. They cried endlessly. Days passed. The villagers believed the children would starve. Then, one day, the boy noticed something: raw green beans. He devoured them desperately, as if his life depended on it. Only then did the villagers realize the children could eat, but only what was familiar to them. Despite being fed, the boy grew weaker. His body could not adapt to this world. Within months, he fell ill and died. No explanation, no cure. The girl survived, but her skin slowly lost its green hue. She learned English, and eventually she spoke. Years later, the girl explained where they came from. She said they were from a land called St. Martin's Land, a place where the sun never shone brightly. Everything was bathed in twilight. All people had green skin. One day, while tending cattle, they followed the sound of bells. A sudden light appeared, and then darkness. When they opened their eyes, they were in Woolpit. Historians documented this story, not once, but twice. Two separate medieval chroniclers wrote about the same event. So the question remains, were the children victims of a lost underground civilization? Suffering from an unknown medical condition? Refugees from a parallel world? Or something humanity still cannot explain? No theory fully explains everything. The girl lived out her life in England. She married. She became normal. But she never took back her story. And Woolpit was never the same. Because sometimes the most terrifying mysteries aren't monsters or ghosts. They are true stories that history cannot erase. The green children of Woolpit remain one of history's most disturbing, unanswered questions. If they were lying, why were their records written? If they were telling the truth, what else exists just beyond our world? And if they ever return, would we recognize them?